What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here, Dean78904, my daily fantasy handle. Hopefully we see that somewhere creeping near. What's up, RotoGrinders? Oh, and I'm hearing myself talk to myself. Another rookie mistake. Good Lord, Dean. You know what it is? It's my second show. I'm still flustered that I did not play Brian Reynolds in the early slates. Either you played Brian Reynolds or you lost American dollars. And that's basically how that went. That's basically how it's go down. Tonight, of course, this is the start of 2 hours. This is how you get the money back. You got to double down for sure. Started 2+ hours of MLB DFS content. I say plus because it's 2 hours like in 5 minutes. So sure, it's plus. Why not? Y'all get the crunch time in about an hour and a half or so. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, and SDL Cards. Joining me today is Kirk Dees. Kirk, are you equally flustered as I am? Jumping out the gates here. It's Kid Yahoo. It's what other nicknames do you have, Kirk Dees? I feel like you have more, but none are coming to me.
I'm not a big nickname guy, Dean.
You are a big nickname guy. You like to give them out.
Correct, but I don't like to. I dish them out, but I can't take it.
Oh well, you know what? Everybody's got that kind of friend, and people don't. It's a general rule, reciprocation.
Dean. All I know is I've been living rent free in your head apparently for a little while now. I mean, I tuned into the show the other day, and you couldn't keep my name out of your mouth the whole show.
Supporting the show, appreciate it. Yeah. What did I say? I was speaking of you glowingly. I imagine I was saying
the plagiarism accusation. It's going to be interesting to see how much. I haven't done a show with Luch in a while, in a little bit. We'll see how much he plagiarizes today. I'll be keeping notes here.
So Luch is a plagiarist. You're already.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm not saying he is, but we caught Dre. I caught Dre when Dre was on the show, and he was that.
What was the context of this? If you're going to throw this out there,
I don't know. It was.
It's Luch. What's going on, dude? I know you have some kind of a lawnmower or something. Your neighbors are having a good time behind you or something like that. Hoping that won't be too distracting. But are you a plagiarist? So the accusations right out the gate.
I hope not. I missed the context. I must have missed those shows. I don't know. I think my rating's pretty original. I crack a lot of really dumb what turned into dad jokes, and I don't know. I mean, who's plagiarizing? What's the word, guys? Fill me in.
I don't know. Kirk Dees just likes to.
Dean likes to steal Cheese's content every show and like word for word and like pass it off as his own. Well, you at least say in Cheese's article, and then everything would be fine. Or I was reading Cheese's article, and then But it is what it is. We've all caught it. The chat knows. Everyone knows.
I've never heard of this guy, but there's a guy pitching tonight. It's wild. He hits baseballs really well, and he throws baseballs really well. Shohei Ohtani, I didn't hear. Cheese pointed him out to me. He's actually going to be pretty popular. I don't know. Have you heard of this guy, Kirk Dees, Shohei?
Of course.
Okay. But this is from reading Cheese's article also, or are you independent of that?
Definitely independent of that.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of baseballs he's hit out, and like he struck out a bunch of dudes this last time he played as well. He seems really good. Like baseball should start marketing him.
I think they do, Dean. I think you've passed. I think they are marketing him.
Devin in chat saying it's pronounced Ohtani. I believe that's your boy Chop. That's the way he pronounces his name. Does that sound about right?
I don't know. I haven't discussed Ohtani with Chop in a while.
Are you guys on the outs? Is it kind of is there kind of a wedge?
No, I mean maybe because I left the group. There's so our contact is limited. I'm telling you though, it's been nice. Feels free over here.
Well, you read some really inspirational tweets, and you set yourself free from a Discord that was I guess there was a lot of negative energy there. Is that what
some would call it toxic?
Some would call it toxic. Yeah. And since then, you feel things are going better in your life, I suppose? Yeah, except for the last 2 slates. It's been a rough couple of days for your boy here. But we're going to – I played so much Brian Reynolds last night. Yeah, me too. And I guess you didn't play him today. So I'm always a day early, No, I didn't play today. Oh, okay. So, you're still angry that he had 3 home runs and you didn't even play. Of course, because I would have went back to him. I would have run it back for sure. So it's terrible. How about yourself, Lou? Did you play the early slate at all or not so much?
No, I did not. I put in a bunch of home run props, started off the day with a bang. Turd Ferguson himself and I both had Stanton going deep, so that was fun.
That's a question I had with the Blazers. I noticed a lot of the same home run calls.
Who's
coming in first?
Only
one
today.
person can like a guy to hit a home run. Is that the rule?
I'm just gonna timestamp it. I want to see who's coming in first.
Well, the timestamping's backwards when different people have to post them too. So I do a lot of the legwork, and I can't just leave them sit there. It's like, well, geez, Julio Rodriguez. Guess I can't write him up today.
I'm watching. Just everyone be on the lookout.
Well, why don't you get on there and make some picks? We could use.
I will. I need to.
You better be early though. You better not write something that anybody else wrote.
Yeah, 7 a.m. Where else, Kirkwood?
The problem is I can't bet here in Massachusetts without taking an hour drive to New Hampshire. So it's like if I could spend a bunch of time making scores and odds content and then not be able to utilize it myself like you guys. I mean, Dre is going to be winning $1 million any day now. So
again,
yes. Well, he's already won. Yes, correct.
I know you're really coming at the neck of a Millie winner. It's pretty bold strategy. We'll see if it
I think Dre is going to be winning $1 million. I'm not kidding. That's when I say I hate the fact that I'm not going to be part of it because I'm never going to be able to get in my car and drive for the parlay, put the parlay in, and then I'm going to be so bitter when it hits.
Hey, you know who you sound like? You sound like the guy that was in the Discord you left that was actively rooting against you, and you were upset.
I'm rooting for him.
It sounds like you're rooting against Drake.
No, I know he's going to hit one. I know it. I've already claimed that he's going to hit one of these.
So we have a 7-gamer tonight, more pitching than hitting, I suppose, outside of Coors. Again, Coors, Dodgers have close to a 7-team total. Lot of good pitching options. I'm refreshing as far as our ownership right now. And for some reason, I have the early slate up, and I have to get a refresh there on the old DK. But, Ohtani, good pitcher, is throwing baseballs tonight versus the White Sox. Not a great team versus righties. They don't strike out a ton, which is the one hit, I suppose, if you're going to poke some holes. He's also pretty cheap, especially on DK. Manoah's pretty cheap on DK as well. Those are the top 2 ownership percentage guys. So Ohtani really separated himself in the field at 48%. And then Manoah, 23% versus Boston. Hunter Green is probably the really interesting one because he's got the biggest variance, but, he's going to be reasonably chalky. He's coming in now at 22, 23% owned. Weather-wise, it's a good pitching environment today in Wrigley. Green, electric stuff, a lot of K potential, but also was giving up just way too many homers. But again, that ballpark in theory should be, and the opponent as well, should be able to save him to some degree. You got Sandy Alcantara with a revenge game against his old team in St. Louis at 20%. The Ks aren't spectacular, but the leash is awesome. He's a guy that can go 7 or 8 innings, wouldn't be shocking. Kyle Wright versus Philadelphia without Bryce Harper. I think that's where the best pitchers are, and then there's if you want to flat out punt, I suppose it's Justin Steele. But where are you at as far as the screenshot? We'll talk about the Dodgers obviously soon enough, and they dictate the slate again when it comes to hitting. I believe it's no Justin Turner, no Buxton as well for Minnesota. Miranda hitting second, jumping up to the 2-hole there for Minnesota today. But give me the screenshot here, Kirk D's. Ohtani is getting 2x to field ownership wise. Is that justified? And your thoughts as far as pitchers?
Well, he's the highest K percentage on the slate, right? So he's the highest strikeout pitcher. Now he's not in the best matchup for strikeouts. Chicago White Sox are 28th in K percentage against right-handed pitching. But however, we also saw him just come off of his start against the Royals, who also don't strike out a lot. And he just struck out 13 of them, which just goes the saying. And when you have these elite arms like this, and he's definitely becoming one of those elite arms. Yeah, there's a lot of bumps on the road and here and there, but I consider him an elite arm. And it just goes to show that when they're on, it doesn't, you can throw K percentage out the window because these guys are capable of just mowing down 10 plus Ks in any of their starts. So I'm definitely on board with him. And from there, this slate is kind of good. I think we have everything, right? So you can kind of do whatever you want as some of these lineups have come in. So for pitching,
somebody says that. That's almost like a plagiarist, the thing to say.
Zing.
Yeah, that's the last guy I would be ripping off. Let me tell you, like if I was, I'd be stealing content. It'd be from anybody else. But anyways, so there's so many things we can do, right? So we can go start at the top. We got Sandy Alcantara, who's probably the best pitcher on the slate. And, you know, I think he's capable of having a higher strikeout, you know, game than his metrics would tell you. But, you know, we can go. There's no shame in playing him. It's not the greatest matchup against St. Louis, but, you know, he's in play. Alek Manoah, I'm always higher on than everybody. People don't think he's much of a K pitcher. I think he does have the stuff to be a really high K pitcher, and I think he just has some games where he's off and on. So you just got to catch him on the right one. What are we going to saving $65 with what?
I'm just plagiarizing on my phone real quick.
Nice. And then we got Hunter Green, you know, who's like you said, that's probably the highest variance spot, you know, massive strikeout upside, great young talent coming on, great matchup against the Cubs, still can walk, you know, his command can be totally gone and could end up having a rough day, but you could also break the slate with him. Kopech is interesting, right? So there's so many different ways we can go. And then we also have since there's so many good pitchers, we don't really have any like super standout chalk batting spots except for the Dodgers, who have basically busted 2 nights in a row now. Yeah. And people like me are getting a little fed up of this. But anyways, they also added, you know, Jake Lamb. There's also like little value bats all around in a lot of these games. So like once you throw one of those guys in your lineup, it just gives you the ability to kind of make any lineup you want. So I like this slate. I think there's a ton of ways to go.
Jake Lamb, not on Fanduel, by the way. Last night I found out Jake Lamb was a Dodger. Was not aware of that. He's drawn the start. I mentioned no Buxton for Minnesota. By Kirk, your camera's blurry, according to a producer in the chat. No Buxton and no Correa. So Minnesota is just like in full tank mode. They're just like giving this game up tonight. That seems, I don't know why you wouldn't play either one of those two. Not that I still don't want to play Cal Quantrill, but I guess you move them up a little bit, I guess, maybe. You were going to say something, Luch. Go ahead.
No, I thought we were at like the eye doctor when Kirk was switching the lens on us there, but still look a little blurry, but it's a little better. This is like the in-between where you're trying to lie whether or not you need a new prescription or not. But now
I always feel weird asking. They go like 1 or 2, and I'm like, I don't know, they're the same. And I'm like, again? And you can only say again like twice. If you say again a third time, you're just like screwing with them, right? So
I feel like that's like part of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode or something.
That is a Curb episode. I'm plagiarizing Larry David.
I just watched the one where he broke his teeth. Do you remember that one?
Yes. Oh, and the apples with the apples.
Yeah, all of them
fake
break
fruit.
their teeth. Yes.
No. Where the little who's at the piñata at the party and the girl hit him in the face, and because he was making fun of Ted Danson, and he blew off his dentist because he didn't want to like go out to dinner with him, and his dentist was the only guy on call, and he put in the worst fake teeth ever. I get it, but yeah,
I remember that episode.
Really, that was a good one. It was old series.
I trust it's good. They're all pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not creative. I just rip off other people's stuff.
You were saying before I interrupted you about the eye doctor.
No, that was it. I'm just. You know, Ohtani is super chalk. He's projected to be owned to a less degree on FanDuel. Well, that'll be a different discussion, but definitely a lot of decisions to make. I mean, Hunter Green is super volatile, you know, but it's decent pitching weather there, according to Weather Edge. Not the worst. Like he gets in trouble because he gets hit hard and the ball goes out of the ballpark, you know. He made a lot of good points about Ohtani, Kirk. Chicago does not strike out a lot. Like they are so good, so contact heavy, but some guys, there's like 5 pitchers where it just doesn't matter. And Ohtani is proven to be one of those pitchers, and he's plus money to go over 6.5 Ks on a lot of books. And I just feel like, how don't you throw in a small bet, you know? And you can even use that to hedge yourself a little if you're fading him in tournaments. Maybe just take a couple over props at plus money. Like you said, just coming off a 13K dominant performance. He's not walking anybody this year either. He's a different pitcher. Walks are not an issue. And we're getting to the point where his home road splits I'm starting to take seriously. He's so much better at home. We have 20 plus starts home and on the road, and his ERA is like 2 full points better at home than he is on the road. So I like Ohtani. I just, are you going to go out there and play Ohtani with a bunch of Dodgers bats? You're not going to take down a tournament that way, most likely. So a lot of decision points with a very chalky, high upside pitcher and arguably the best offense in Major League Baseball playing in Colorado.
Somebody in chat was saying that St. Louis has 4 lefties. I guess talking about Alcantara, he doesn't have a huge split. He does have more Ks versus righties, 27%, 20% versus lefties. But his split is not like really massive. There's a player playing baseball for them named Connor Capel. I believe he is making his major league debut. I was looking at him before the show, and I think he had like a ton of speed in the minors. There's somebody else, I think, for Philadelphia who had 20 homers in the minors.
Derek Hall, I think, is playing, but
yeah, but he's also 26, and he's hitting homers up like 20-year-olds.
Yeah, both of the Phillies, 2A and 3A, are like 20 minutes from where I live each way. I've seen a lot of them. Pretty good in the minors. I mean, I think that's still a bump to Kyle Wright having him in the heart of that order for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're 26 and you're making your MLB debut. Yes, you have like 20 homers in the minors, but there's a reason why this is your first time in the majors, I think, right? Good for him. He's got a bunch of homers in the minors. But like Capel this season, Connor Capel, 252 at-bats, 9 homers, 16 stolen bases. That's pretty good. I mean, he's 2K is he on Fanduel and on DK, or he's only on DK? I think he's only on DK. And again, Lamb not on Fanduel as well as far as some cheapies. And I think the Philly is only on DK. Is that correct? Can you confirm, Mr.
The Philly is not on DK.
Okay.
He's not on Fanduel, and I don't think he's on Yahoo. Nope, he's gone.
Okay.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with Luch as well. I mean, sure, he's got home run power, but you're not seeing somebody with the skill of Kyle Wright very often in the minor leagues either. So I think that's a bump for him. And of course, there's no Harper in that lineup as well too. And this Philly lineup is kind of just Schwarber, who just keeps hitting homers. He's awesome. You got Castellanos and Hoskins platoon advantage for Wright, but it's just, and Real Muto, who's been scuffling this year, showing signs of wearing down, and that's what happens to catchers when they get in their 30s. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he's in his 30s. And like, are people going to play Kyle Wright, Luch? Because I feel like he's going to be pretty lost on this slate. He's behind Ohtani. He's behind Manoah. He's behind Green. And maybe he's next.
I kind of want to play Kyle Wright, especially on DraftKings. Look at this Phillies lineup. Speaking of good minor leaguers who haven't done anything in the majors, Mickey Moniak's at the bottom of that order too. It's funny. I saw him play in Reading in 2A, and then he got called up the next day for his first cup of coffee, and he pissed on a ball, hit the wall, world beater in the minors, Mickey Moniak. And then he comes up the next day. I think he golden sombreroed or struck out 3 times.
So he's supposed to be good in theory. He's still pretty young, right?
Yeah, in theory. Yeah, high draft pick too, but you know how that works in MLB.
Well, he was the first pick overall, so yeah.
I didn't want to plagiarize. I just want to say, generally speaking, pretty high draft pick. But that bottom, I mean, there's strikeouts in that order. Kyle Wright has kind of, I don't even want to say leveled off because he still has a 26% K rate, but he was on fire earlier this season. This Phillies lineup, I think, is beatable. Charlie Morton struck out the side in the first inning yesterday, but he just didn't have it. He walked a million people. So I like Kyle Wright. I mean, if you're looking for a large field tournament pivot, he's toward the top of the list for me. Now, you can't beat the price on Manoah, though. I mean, is he going to push 20%? What do we have him at, 22%? So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Wright's the guy that's forgotten, but I do like him tonight against Philly.
This is a daily fantasy sports conversation we care about today and today only, but we should acknowledge that we have a big trade in the association in the NBA. Danilo Gallinari, that's not the big part of it, and multiple first-round picks are going to San Antonio for DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray and Trae Young in the backcourt for Atlanta. What do we think? What's our first thought? What's your first take, Kirk Dees?
Wait, say that again. I turned off Woj, so I haven't been. And
why did you Woj?
because I forgot to turn him back on after the draft because it was just so annoying. I didn't care about this 30th pick and the 31st.
Was it because you didn't like spoilers? Because that would be. I mean, if
no, it had nothing to do with spoilers. I just got annoyed. I just needed a break, turn him off. So I forgot to put him back on. So who's the trade? So the Hawks got
DeJounte Murray is going to Atlanta.
Collins?
No, nothing to do with Collins. But he might get moved. The trade is Gallinari and multiple first-round picks to San Antonio for DeJounte Murray. Murray and Young in the backcourt. And Collins may not be part of their future. I don't know. We'll see.
It's kind of cool. Interesting.
San Antonio is just in rebuild mode, I guess.
We're degenerates where I'm thinking, man, Lonnie Walker's usage is going to be through the roof the first week in DFS.
Well, I heard rumors Lonnie Walker coming to the Celtics.
Be a nice pickup.
Walker could be the guy that can score 20 points a night for a terrible team, and that's maybe he's like, excited about that. We'll see. There's probably more moves to come too, I imagine, but that's pretty interesting.
Did you say 3 first in that trade?
Multiple, so at least 2.
That's not terrible. It's just San Antonio. You think they're rebuilding already, but now it's like, let's take it a step further and let's just blow the doors off this thing. So,
Josh and Jack says 3, by the way. So I don't know. I'm just seeing the tweet says multiple. So
3's a pretty high number. The thing is, you guys know the NBA. It's like, is a late first round pick. Is that going to scratch the itch? But I mean, if you could parlay those into bigger and better things, then hey, it just sucks for Spurs fans who were probably growing attached to DeJounte Murray, all-star, right? Like easy to root for, young guy. I think he's going to be there for 10 years and then see you later. But
how late are those draft picks going to be? Like Atlanta is not all of a sudden like this, super team, Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's probably more moves to come.
Not a lot of defense in that backcourt, right? Like,
I don't think so.
But we'll see. And
have you talked to Kirk Deasy? We talked to Chopper about his boy Jazz. Jazz went on the IL today. I mean, maybe that's why he's
I saw that.
Yeah, he's probably mourning that. I assume. Big hit to the Marlins lineup. No Jazz Chisholm, and that's another one of those deals where still not rostering the Cardinals pitcher, but just a hit to the Marlins. So yeah, no Jazz, no Justin Turner, no Buxton, no Correa. There's probably somebody else that's not playing baseball tonight. But all right, other things that are popping up in chat that are worth talking about. I want to kind of give the rundown as far as all the pitchers. You playing on DK tonight, Kirk Dees?
I am.
What's the goal here? I mean, main lineup. We're going. It's hard not to get 2 of Ohtani, Manoah, Alcantara, right, Green. You're gonna get 2 of those, I assume. The plan is.
So I'm okay. I'll give you the lowest 2 that I'm gonna go. I'll start there, and then yes, the ideal scenario is to have Ohtani Green, Manoah Green. However, I have a build with Green and Kopech. Now I don't expect to win. There's a lot of hope there. You know what I mean? There's a lot. Kopech looked horrendous in his last start. I just believe in the talent. I believe in I throw anyone against these Angels. All you got to do is get around Trout and Ohtani, and it's amazing that people still hang pitches to those guys because you should just pitch around them. But
Rengifo is on deck though, man. You got to get nervous.
Yeah, there's so many strikeouts there that I have to take the chance if he turns it around. And then there's one more that I'm not completely sold on yet, but I'm still considering it, and that's Justin Steele. Twisted Steel Sex Appeal is his nickname.
I don't believe that's true. I think you just made that up.
No, that's his nickname. That's his official nickname. Twisted Steel Sex Appeal. Anyways, so 6,500. I mean, he has some strikeout stuff. He also is has a horrible walks and hits burning, a horrible whip. And it can get scary with him in a moment. I'm not big on this Cincinnati Reds team in general. I would have liked Tommy Pham to be out of the lineup again, but anyways, this is a lineup I can attack.
Get scratched. That happens all the time. So
yeah, I know. I know it's crazy, but with the Luch said, with the decent pitching weather. At the temperature, it's below 80. It does have a nice dew point, but the wind, is not blowing out. It is blowing in a little bit. Whatever. It's a good spot where he could do well. There's a lot of, it's a very volatile play too, but 6.5K, you can still do a lot with your lineup. So he'd be the lowest guy I go to. But like I said, I have a Hunter Green and Kopech, but then I have Hunter Green and the chalk Shohei too as well.
Can I say Green just is a guy that I don't want to be heavily owned when I'm rostering him, And
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But tonight it feels like I just think he's going to do really well.
I think he's going to do well too. But and again, the home run issue is real. He's given up, first of all, 54.9% fly balls, a ton of fly balls. He's right up there with the dude from Cleveland, McKenzie. 19.8 homer in the fly ball. Okay, a little bit unlucky. And then part is that, his ballpark there in Cincinnati is conducive to homers. And today the ballpark in Wrigley is, in theory, going to subdue them. But 2.57 homers per 9 is just so many. That's a lot. That's a pile. And there is some power on that Chicago side. There's also plenty of strikeouts guys too. One of which, but I don't know if you did you read the expert survey today, Curtis, by chance?
I did not.
Somebody put for their under the radar home run call, and they actually put the nickname in there too. It says Patrick. I mean, this is in writing, so it's official. Anything in the internet is real, right?
Patty the Tooth.
It says Patrick the Brain Wisdom. Pull it
so
up.
You wrote that because you're the only one still holding on to that.
I'm just reading it, and I'm just telling you what it says. Under the radar.
Can you read it by who wrote it? Can you read that?
All I see is I'm just zoning in on the name Patrick the Brain Wisdom. I love that I put it in the sheet. And I'm just screwing around, and somebody duplicated that. Somebody's like, "Well, I guess that means something." I don't know. So that's official now. Pull it up. You can see it.
Oh man.
I was waiting for somebody to comment on it, but nobody mentioned it to me. He's like, "Okay, I guess that's what we're doing."
Nice original content, Dean.
That actually is original. Nobody else will claim that. It's not even good content, but it's original.
You got to just let it go. The Tooth is one of the great nicknames of all time.
One tooth just snarling at you. That's
it's like a big ferocious tooth growling at you. It's...
They're asking about Urias in the chat, and Urias, Coors Field, he's a pretty good pitcher, and he tends to have a less length than most as far as ability to pitch deep into the game. I don't think I'm not getting there. I don't see myself getting there. Talk to me about Kopech because nobody's gonna play him. I don't think. You're right. It's just the Angels think, and it's outrageous what the Angels are doing, just completely ruining the prime of two of the best players in baseball. I don't know what they have to do. How do you change it? They've actually thrown money at a bunch of players, but that hasn't worked either over the years. But just an indictment on a horrible organization. But yeah, he won't be rostered, right? Kopech, let me see what he's ownership wise on DK. He's pretty cheap. I'll give him that. I don't trust him.
So he's a strikeout pitcher. He's cheap. He's cheap, and he's in the best matchup for strikeouts, right? Now, there's a ton of warts. He had looked terrible. He's also been battling a knee injury, and so there's potential that's what's, really been messing him up. However, I like to look past all those things, and I like to try to be optimistic and say, if this kid turns it around and he's not going to be, not going to be owned much tonight, and, I believe in the talent, and if he can fix that for tonight and mow down these Angels, then that's a nice path. That's 7,600 on DK here. So I get it. I'm expecting this to blow up, right? So maybe, stacking against them is certainly in play. And actually, that's probably one of the top stacks tonight, right? A lot of people probably like the Angels.
But you're not full stacking the Angels. There's no chance you're doing that.
Well, I'm not. So what? So what did Cheese say in the article, Dean? What did he tell you to do?
To be honest, I don't know what he said specific to this situation. I would imagine he's saying you can play Trout and you can play Ohtani, which, I mean, maybe
you can't play Ohtani because he's pitching. So you can play Trout, you can play Ward, and you can play Walsh. Okay,
yeah, sure. That's right, because it's 2022 and Ohtani's been in the league for 5 years now, and they still can't figure out how to – he's a hitter and he's a pitcher. We can't make him two different guys. I don't know. But, yeah, that makes it even less likely to stack the Angels. I'm not stacking the Angels.
But let's talk about Urias.
Talk about him.
He's looked really good lately. He's totally so his season numbers don't look good, right? So he was down at a 19% strikeout rate. He's up to 23.5% over his last 3 games right here. So, and the strikeout stuff has looked good. He had 20 swinging strikes, a 37% called strike whiff in his last start against the Braves. Now the Braves do strike out a lot again too, but this is someone who's completely turned around. The problem is it's in Coors, but I'm like, I totally think this. If you take his last 3 starts, which have been all phenomenal against San Fran, Cleveland, and Atlanta, I think that's who this pitcher is. And it's just taken him a little while to get there this season because I believe in his talent strongly too. So the only negative, obviously, which is a huge one, is that it's in Coors, right? And but I do think he's worth a little play tonight.
Pretty contact heavy lineup for Colorado as well. They're not great, but they'll make, Daza leading off 8.6% as far as striking out versus lefties this season. You got Iglesias as another guy, 9.2%, Rogers 12.2%. There are some K's, Crohn's in there, Bryant's in there as well. So, but 17.9% collectively is not a great number, obviously. But you're also like, nobody's going to play him, right? If we check out our ownership on him, I'm going to guess he's like 5% or less. Let me see if I can scroll and get to him. 5.7 is our current projection on DK, which to me sounds about right. I think we got a refresh here. Ohtani at 49%, Green at 28%. Man, I mean, I'm probably just going to roster on my main lineup Manoah instead of Green and pay $600 more. Boston, a little trickier lineup, obviously. What do you think of that thought, Luch, as far as Manoah? I feel like we haven't talked about him much. 8.7K on DK is a pretty good price.
Yeah, if I could backtrack, I think it'll be a pretty telling game about Urias. I mean, not a lot of Ks in that Colorado lineup. They are throwing 7 or 8 righties against him. He's only striking out 20% of righties this season. I know he's looked better, and that curveball must have really been working because his velocity is like the same, and he had a big game against the Giants and just some crazy stuff. I'm probably out on him tonight, though. I do like some of these other pivots that we talked about a little bit better. I think Kyle Wright's in a better spot than him personally. But I get it. Nobody's going to play him in Coors. That's definitely true. Manoah, I know Kirk. Kirk, did you say you liked Manoah tonight?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, talk to me. Sell me on him.
He's a talented pitcher. He's also a pretty safe pitcher. It's also a Red Sox lineup that's a little watered down here. So they got Ref Snyder up at the top, who's not very good, frankly. They've got Franchi Cordero, who should be a K on layaway. And we're getting
it all the time.
The only shout out to Dean. See, I'm giving you credit for when I say that. Yolmer. Now, did you guys see that Yolmer Sanchez is playing here today for the Boston Red Sox in 2022?
I did not see that. Remind me who Yolmer? I know that name sounds
White
familiar.
Sox, goofy glasses, kind of. You don't remember Big T always played him. Yolmer. Yeah.
He's wearing a Baltimore hat. Who is Yolmer Sanchez? I know that name sounds familiar.
He's been on the White Sox. That's for like the guy.
Yeah.
That's where you would know him from.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd get your memory checked or something. But anyways,
There's a lot of Yolmers to keep track of.
The thing about Yolmer today is let's take a trip down Narrative Street. He's only going to be playing 1 game for the Sox because they're probably going to call back up. Duran is probably going to be ready off of the COVID situation. I think he's an anti-vaxxer potentially. I don't know. But anyways, Yolmer's 30th birthday is today.
What?
In the 1 game that he's going to be called up to play. And
hold up. We got to look this up. I feel like he's one of those guys that possibly is older than the amount of career home runs he has. Is that
He's 30.
No, he's got over 30 career.
Is he?
32 career home runs.
Oh, that was close.
I would have
got
bet
some
the over.
pop.
I was all in on the over there.
Oh,
He's not played the majors since 2020,
win.
where he had 21 at bats, the old proverbial cup of coffee. But he was a regular player.
Former Gold Glove winner.
Well, how many fantasy points is that worth?
Depends what kind of scoring system you have, Dean. Don't be
what
a hater.
Scoring system?
That's like playing fantasy football with a head coach, right? Like you have that option, but who plays like, yeah, I'll take Andy Reid in the 4th round. I'm going to stack him with Mahomes, and we're just going to have a great season. I'll take the Gold Glove in my utility and the narrative. So are you playing him or what?
I guarantee you, if I text Big T the narrative and tell him it's his birthday, Big T will be playing him if he's not already playing him.
He'll give you like the 6 to midnight gif, and then he might play. He's not going to play him. Like nobody's playing Yoel. Is he even in the pool?
Don't knock Big T. Yeah, he's 2K. He's batting
knocking Big T.
You know, Big T. I took a piece of his like last baseball live final, and it was like he played the worst players on the Blue Jays.
You're knocking him. You say don't knock him.
Like no, it was like the bottom of the. He got too rich, is what's happened. He's made too much money. He will do anything now. And I was like, man, I just invested in a guy who played like this 8th and 9th hitter. I can't remember who were so bad. And it was that guy Davis. Who is it? The Blue Jay.
Jonathan Davis.
Raji.
Yes.
Oh, John.
The speedy guy kind
of. Was it Raji?
Well, it was Raji. They were both in the Blue Jays. Jonathan Davis made an incredible catch today.
It was John. It was Jonathan Davis, I think.
Man, they like fast Davises. That is something.
He dove his head like he hit the fence. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was an incredible catch in the outfield. Hopefully he's okay.
I didn't say. Anyway, Yomer's 30th birthday. This is the one game he's playing. Do with that information as you.
I'm gonna not play him.
All right.
I don't think I'm playing him. Are you convinced to play him, Luch? I'm
not playing him. Wait, Yolmer? Are we on the Yolmer thing still?
We're talking about Yolmer, so yeah.
Sorry.
So long story short, this is a very watered down Red Sox lineup, right? So you got the 7th, 8th, 9, Franchi, Yolmer. If you take away the birthday narrative, the extra boost there, let's put that aside. It's Franchi, Yolmer, Jackie Bradley Jr. And Ref Snyder right there, all connected. So yes, there's obviously risk with Devers, Martinez, Bogarts, Verdugo, Vasquez, but this is a positive lineup to be facing for Manoah here tonight, and he can KP. He's better than a 22% strikeout pitcher.
I feel like he is too, but maybe he is pitching the contact a little bit more. But I think when he wants to, he can ramp up more Ks. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, to speak to your Urias of late, I just kind of looked at his last 30 days. Last 30 days versus lefties, it's only 27 hitters, so whatever. Don't get too excited. But 37% K rate. Now, of course, it's mostly righties. 30.3%. So, the Ks have been
his velocity's been up a little, and he's had his curve and changeup have been much better. He was really struggling. So, like I said, I look at those last 3 starts. And I think that's kind of who he is. Maybe a little bit better, but still, there's a lot of room there. So the problem is his cores, right? We all know that, but I think he's capable of throwing a good game there.
And the curveball is more hindered in cores, correct?
Well, the as Chop explained to us all, the sea level makes a big difference with that.
Scientist Chop.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, the sea level effect, I think it affects the curve more than it would affect.
I'd have to reach out to Chop to get his opinion.
Right. Well, send out the bat signal and get back to us on that.
There's just too many righties for me. I'm gonna watch uninvested, and I actually have him in my season long league. So if he shoves, I'll be happy. And I don't know, it's gonna be pretty telling. He's getting a ton of righties that don't strike out in Coors. So you're getting ahead of the herd if you're playing him tonight, and he's all the way back. I thought Charlie Morton was all the way back, and he was horrific against the Phillies. So that was a minus points for Luch on that one. By the way, we got a Julio Rodriguez bomb while we were away, and I know someone's going to call me a plagiarizer, but he was 6-1. I did. Grant got him on the site first.
Yeah, Grant had a great Stanton call earlier too.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Giancarlo Stanton would hit a home run
against the lefty?
Can't even imagine. What a thought.
You know, this was my crazy thought because I actually wrote that he's going Oppo too. So there's my original piece of content out of it. He went Oppo. You know how like the NBA was rolling out first basket and then the type, like Robert Williams dunk 3-pointer or foul shot. What if we do home runs? But then which? Oh yeah, they rolled it out on FanDuel Sportsbook, my friend. They sponsor our Crunch Time show, by the way. What a great plug. But what if you said which grandstand is the ball going to land in? And it's just like ridiculous odds. Terrible idea, right?
I wonder how subjective like the dunks are. You know what I mean? Like,
does he touch the rim or does he do one of those like phantom touches?
I feel like I invented live betting.
Wow, here we go. Speaking of plagiarizing, that's a bold take on this show.
Let me tell you, in 6th grade, I was a compulsive gambler already in 6th and 7th grade. And so I used to get on the phone with my 2 friends. We were gamblers, and we would watch a game, and we would bet on every possession of the basketball game on whether they were going to score or not. And if they hit a 3-pointer or got fouled and made the bucket and the free throw, it would be 1.5x, you know, and we would keep track and we would bet every game. Innovative.
Did your friend become the future CEO of DraftKings or FanDuel?
And he stole the idea? No. One friend's a doctor. The other one's I have no idea.
It could go either way. You never really know. It could go the other way for all we know. Let's give the summary as far as pitchers. Anything? Do you have anything specific to FanDuel, Kirkies, that's worth pointing out? Like Ohtani's a little bit more expensive over there. Manoah's a little bit more expensive over there. Just as far as some of the prices. Is there any difference? And just, of course, you're only rostering one pitcher as well. Alcantara's $11K, Manoah 11.8, Ohtani 10.5, Wright 10.4. Green is probably the one that, you know, it's obviously the biggest salary saver at 9.1. But how much do you need that salary? Is the other part of that question. Do things change for you over in FanDuel if you only get the roster one?
I think Twisted Steel's sex appeal is a little bit more enticing on FanDuel for sure at that price.
And that's Justin Steele. For those
yes.
not a nickname that 3 years. That's like 3 minutes old.
Justin Steele. But no, I mean, so basically there's like the whole list is playable. Like pretty much only guy I wouldn't even consider is Palante. And I wouldn't consider Dylan Bundy either. Palante, Bundy, Quantrill are the only guys on this slate that I wouldn't even consider. Like, so I would even play some Herman Marquez just to be crazy. But
what lineup does he make? Like your 100th lineup?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to be clear, like
maybe 20th out of 20 if I'm 20 maxing.
Okay.
You know, just a dart. You know.
Justin, what's going on in the chat? You're talking about fries and the Frosty. Are you a Frosty guy, Justin?
I mean, I'm slightly overweight. Yes, I mean, I'm a food guy. You know, I work out and all this stuff, but you know, I'm 5'8" at best, so you know, I'm just never gonna lose weight. So may as well enjoy some food. But that. You know, our guy Cloud in the chat actually gave me a decent thought. I'll have to talk to Will Priester for our Food for Thought podcast coming up. And people love when we talk about food and. I even had one of our listeners, Scott, sent us some hot sauce samples. That was awesome. But maybe we should talk about some of these like highly debatable food combinations. Like what do people do that's weird with food that you absolutely hate? You know, like people like ranch on pizza. I feel like you're either in or out on, right? Like things like
perfected pizza. What are we doing?
Right? Like, but the combinations like that's. I mean, do you dip fries in your Frosties or milk? Are you one of the people that do that?
So I'll say this: Frosties are whatever, they're fine, but they kind of suck. Is like if you're going to have those calories, there's much better options than a Frosty. Like it's just get yourself. What do they have? The DQ, the Blizzard. Get one of those. Frosties is kind of lame.
We're trying to keep our viewers here. We're at 203. If we're at 202 because our guy eating the Frosty leaves, I'm going to be so upset with you.
It's not a personal attack. It doesn't taste any less based upon what I'm saying. It's kind of lame though. It's like $2 probably. So whatever, you get what you pay for.
All right. Original take.
The Victoria machine working. What's that?
So that was an original take. We like original content on the show. So I
do know. Like I saw a commercial for a strawberry version of that. I don't know. Are you intrigued by a strawberry Frosty?
No. Another one that comes to mind is people are really particular when they eat wings. Are you ranch or blue cheese or neither?
I'm neither. I don't like either one. They're both gross.
I'm blue cheese, but I'm fine with either.
some people are very passionate, right, about.
Or people get
one or the
angry
other.
like if it's a boneless or not. It's like that's just the weirdest argument. It's like, first of all, like enjoy it, whatever. And yes, boneless wings are kind of like chicken nuggets, I guess, but still,
They're not wings. They're not wings.
But why are you angry about it though? Like people are very angry about this.
I'm
It's
not
fine.
angry. Don't say I'm angry about it. I'm not.
It's a generalization.
Yeah, Zach in the chat says flats or drums. That's another like I only eat the flats or I only eat the drums.
The kitchen hates that, by the way, as an aside. Like they do not like, it's just annoying to order them that way.
So I've been watching The Bear, Dean.
Oh yeah, it's good, right?
And I have some hospitality experience myself.
I watched it in a weekend because it's like 8 episodes, 30 minutes each, and I flew through it, and I really if you've worked at a restaurant, I think you'll appreciate it. And is it fair to say it does a really
pretty good? It's pretty good. I almost kind of wish it wasn't Lip from
Shameless.
Yeah, because it feels like the same, like he's like the same, but I think they do a very good job. The fact that they're from like CIA, and like the Culinary Institute of America, like everyone knows that. But it's pretty accurate, I think.
And
they got hit, they got slammed, they were in the weeds, and they had that feeling like afterwards, like that they got that right. So
that was the best episode. I think it was episode 7. If you got to that one,
the tickets just kept
incredible. And by the way, speaking of that, have you seen Waiting, the Ryan Reynolds flick? Shots asking in chat, and that's another one. Like if you've worked in the industry, this is a second Waiting. Don't worry about it. First one, Reynolds, like Andy Milonakis is in it as well. I think George, the guy had some Boogie Nights. But have you seen? Are you aware of Waiting? You've seen Waiting, right?
I don't think so.
You'll like it. If you worked in the industry, you'll like it. It's a comedy. It's kind of raunchy. Might be a little dated now. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. Justin Long, he's also in it too. Good job. The Apple guy. Yeah, it's a fun watch. Have you seen it, Luch, or no? Know what we're talking about?
No, I haven't seen it.
No. Do you have any hot takes as far as flats or drums or boneless, non-bone? Luis Guzman, that's what I was thinking of. Why can't they get it?
Luis Guzman. Not really. I don't have a hard take. I mean, if the wings are good, I'll eat them. I'm not one side or the other. But interesting. Thanks for the idea from Cloud about these food debates. Pineapple on pizza is probably the biggest one you see, right? Is that like
people get very angry about that one too? It's fine. Yeah. Like it's not my first choice, but and it has to come with ham, I suppose, right? Hawaiian style. So it's okay. But again, what are we doing? We perfected this, man.
It's over, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix
done. It. I have no notes.
Then at some point they started stuffing the crust. Oh,
yeah. Well, otherwise you throw the crust away, right?
True.
Maybe.
What did we? So we talked Hunter Green. Did we talk Justin Steele at all? Like value guys?
Well, we've heard his nickname multiple times in chat, and according to Kirk D's.
Twisted Steel sex appeal.
Did you lean into the mic for that? It sounded louder to me.
That's his nickname. I don't mean, I'm just here like doing the show.
I think you juiced your mic up. I don't know if you realize you did that.
I didn't. Am I loud? Way too loud?
Luch?
You're a little loud, but someone say you're just coming in hot. But
I didn't touch it, but
I think it's fine. What? I was looking at Steele, and he does not get righties out. This data goes back to the beginning of last season. He strikes out a ton of lefties, but the Reds are throwing 8 righties at him. So I might hit that under 4.5 in that K prop there. I mean, the Reds are carrying the stigma that they're terrible. And granted, they're not great at their jobs, which is a piece of material I steal from Dean. I will openly say, but I give you credit. I usually say, as Dean 78904 says.
See, you didn't steal. That's good. You're doing the right thing. Yeah. No issue with that. It's only Dean who does it differently.
I've never given the homage.
But can he survive? Yeah, against Cincy, like a DK play for sure. But I think I'm hitting that under 4.5 on Steele's K props. But the Reds K rates aren't egregiously bad. They're just not collectively a great team. I think that's interesting.
According to Bill in chat, each one of us are at different volume, which is kind of funny. I feel like Kirk Dees is probably the loudest. I'm probably in the middle, and Luch is probably the lowest. We're just
all right. Do I fix my gain or my volume button?
Dude, that's a producer Steve question, man. That's not a Dean question.
Steve, let us know.
You sound like you got back to normal, for me. I don't know if you can confirm that, Luch.
Yeah, he's louder than you. Is that what you asked me?
Oh no, it sounds like he's a little not as loud as he was a minute ago.
How about now?
Oh, good. There you go.
There you go.
Right.
Not that I'm
He's
playing
on your
producer
game.
or anything. Devin, perfect. There he is.
In chat, somebody was asking, I meant Pavetta's throwing baseballs, and like I guess maybe if you're MMEing, do you want to give a sales pitch for Pavetta? That's your boy. Kirk Tees is on your team. Are you playing some Nick?
It's a tough matchup for him. I think he's fine. He's not. I won't be playing too much. I might 150 max tonight, and I'll have a little of him just because he's been so great. He didn't have the greatest start against Cleveland. They're not a high strikeout matchup, but it's tough. I'll play him a little bit.
Miles Kelly in chat, the official Miles Kelly in chat. Anyone else notice these guys give constantly bad advice, LOL, and then starting to think it's on purpose, LOL. So I know who's going to homer. I don't tell you guys this. I know. I actually do have the almanac. Biff hooked it up. I know who's going to home runs, but I don't want to. Why would I tell everybody, Luch? That doesn't make it. Why would I do that? That's silly, right? I got to keep that to myself.
Yeah, you have to, right? Are you in one of the secret chats?
I'm in the most secret of chats. It's just myself and Biff, and we can't make it too obvious. I don't want to win every night. That'd be silly, right? All of a sudden there'd be like an investigation, but kind of sprinkle in some winners here and there. Like, got to give you a taste. Oh yeah, okay, Dean. Yeah, there you go. Good call. You got that one right. I knew about Reynolds today. Didn't tell anybody. Sorry.
You're arrogant.
I didn't even play him. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to play him. I'm going to try to win without the 3 homers.
I'm not even going to. Joe Holka would not let that comment bring him down. And we're just going to move. We're just going to move on.
It's fine. I just think it's an interesting take, I suppose. But hey, we're all entitled to our opinions. Give me the summary, Kirk Tees, as far as pitchers.
All right, it's Shohei with Hunter Green. That's the chalk connection. It's probably, there's a lot of upside there. There's a lot of volatility with Hunter Green. If you want, if you can get up to Alek Manoah and Shohei, that's a great combo too. I am going to be playing some Michael Kopech tonight. I don't recommend it personally because I'm trying to be optimistic about tonight. The matchup is great. I believe in him as a talent level. There's a lot of warts. I think he's got a bad knee. His velocity's been down. None of his pitches have been great. Like, everything is wrong. But so I'm just ignoring that all, and I'm playing him. So I'm telling you what I'm doing. Justin Steele is probably a better play if you're looking to get down there because for another 1,000. But I'm avoiding Kyle Wright tonight. And you can play Sandy Alcantara for sure. He's a great pitcher, but I don't know if the upside is going to be there.
Just looking at Kopech, and I wouldn't say avoid him. I mean, this is a large field tournament take. Like, you want to get ahead of the ownership. If he was healthy, he'd be heavily owned. Maybe he is. Maybe he just needed some time. His fastball velocity against Baltimore was a full mile per hour more than it was when he came back against Houston. That's a big deal. But, I mean, we give terrible advice on this show, so I'll just stop talking. Move on to the hitters.
I believe I just saw the Angels lineup come out. Let's see how standard or goofy it does look. White Sox is out as well. Ward, Trout, Ohtani, Walsh, Rengifo, Stassi, Marsh, Velasquez, and Wade. That's for the Angels. White Sox. Anderson leading off with Moncada batting second. Roberts, Abreu, Sheets, Pollock, Garcia, Harrison, and McGuire is their catcher. All right. Your final thoughts, Luch, as far as pitchers?
I got to be honest. I don't.
He just gave it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't love anyone's ceiling except potentially Ohtani. So I don't mind the Kopech thought. I actually kind of like it, Kirk. I mean, he's carrying no ownership on FanDuel, and if he gives you 6 or 7 Ks, quality starting to win, he could be the highest scoring pitcher, no ownership, if Ohtani doesn't go nuclear.
Hey, Kirk Dees, a wrench in chat named David Kaplan is saying that Kirk likes to twerk. Can you confirm?
Oh,
how many likes to get you to twerk?
I can dance. I got like crazy good dancing soul. Like, don't.
Well, you have a musical background. You play piano, so like that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, I do have a musical background, but I mean, if he wants to have a dance off.
You and David Kaplan?
Yeah, go back to the strip club you know, and
that is Kurt. That's Head Chopper for the record. For those that are not aware, Hoosiers hang banners. If you guys had to pick a different career, what would it be? I was like a teacher for a while. Well, what would your career be, Curtis?
A veterinarian, and I am upset that I am not one to this day. Like,
do you have a steady hand?
No, I don't actually.
That's good thing you're not a veterinarian then, right? That's crucial, I feel.
Correct, but I love dogs, and do anything for dogs. So it would have made. I really, if I could go back in time, I would have done better in school. Put my nose, forget all the gambling. Keep my nose to the grind, and so that's now. I've got a son on the way, coming in the next 2 months.
On layaway, some would say.
And I'm going to hope that he will become a veterinarian in my honor. I'm going to try to push that.
That is a noble profession. That absolutely. And I'm right there with you. I wouldn't just single out dogs, but animals in general. Pretty awesome.
Correct. Yeah.
I hate
anything. I hate any animal abuse or anything. I eat meat and I shouldn't. I feel really bad about that.
We're big hypocrites.
Yeah. So one trip, I took a trip to South Africa with my cousin who's like a chef, like a really top chef. That's where some of my background in this came from. And they sacrificed a live goat in front of us. Some chief in a town who invited us to dinner through my cousin. And I didn't eat meat for like 3 months after, but I then went back to it. Yeah. It was awful. They passed around this plate of the meat had hair on it still. And it was in this village in South Africa. And we all had to put our hand in and take some and eat. And it would have been bad if I didn't do it. It would have been an insult.
Luke, you can't top veterinarian. I think you were a writer and a reporter at one point, right?
Yeah, for a long time. I wouldn't do that again.
You didn't like it, or just didn't
I had to worry about plagiarizing every day. No, I met a lot of people, networked a lot. I covered sports, and I also covered local government and local news. And it was an experience. I don't know what I would do. I really have no idea. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. I don't know. But I love dogs too. Congrats on your son on the way, Kirk. That's awesome. And the whole veterinarian thing, I apologize. I have a 25-pound border collie who thinks she's a mastiff. If you heard her barking before, she's manning the house right now.
What's her name?
Ruby.
What is it? Any sort of homage? What does Ruby come from?
I don't know. It was the name of a bar in the town where I grew up. I'm just kidding, but it really was. But I don't know. You're just one of those female dog names, I guess, that the girlfriend and the kid thought were cute. So she's Ruby. I think it was
outnumbered.
It was either Ruby or Lucy. The one syllable, easy off the tongue names, I guess, is where we were.
I think that's 2 syllables. Not to get all technical.
You're right, man. And I do grammar. That's what I do.
By the way, Curtis, you have a son on the way. Apparently, I have a couple sons as well. Kyle in chat says, "Love the show with Dean and his sons." Good Lord, how old do I look? What's up, Kyle? All right, well, let's.
Dean, I have a question though. When are you gonna? You bought the Just for Men, correct?
Yeah, it's right here. If you really want to see it,
but you haven't implemented it.
I have not.
What's the plan? Are you scared to do that? Are you not going to do that, or is there are you going to do it at the end of the month, or what?
I'm going to Grant's wedding in 10 days or so, and part of the gift I'm giving him is a mustache. And I think he wants it this color. I can't remember what he said, but we'll figure it out. But eventually,
okay. So it's Grant making the behind the scenes. It's Grant doing that.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure. And now I'm just kind of pot committed to this terrible bit. So that's where we're at essentially.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think this looks good for the record. That's not.
We're up to hitters. They're getting mad at us.
Nah, it's fine. We got the Crunch Time crew. We still have an hour plus. You get Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood. You get STL Cards. You got Roth telling what's going on weather-wise. No precipitation issue as far as I can tell. They're going to go around the horn. We're going to go around the horn as well. Before we do that, though, and look, it's the Dodgers, duh. And then what do you do with them, right? And I'll throw it to you, Curtis, because you've been flustered. You've been frustrated. You've been perturbed. Are we martingaling it? We're going to double down again? Are we playing some more Dodgers tonight? Or
I have to. And I know I can't wait till this series is over because even if they smash tonight, I know I'm not going to smash because it's going to be, they're so chalky, But I'm going back to them tonight. but there are some other spots. I think the Twins are in a nice spot. I think Cleveland could end up being kind of good. And my favorite non-Dodgers stack is the Braves tonight.
Yeah, talk about it. Picking on Ranger Suarez. The tricky part, of course, the Braves without Acuna, without Albies, that lineup falls off. I mean, Gosling's not somebody you want to roster. Harris is, he's got a little bit of power, a little bit of speed, so whatever. Left on left for Olsen, but yeah, talk to me about Atlanta because the overall stack does take a hit, but it's a nice ballpark and whatever on the road. I think they're fine.
Well, it is a good ballpark, and it is 82 degrees. The dew point, the humidity is about a 45%, which is a little bit lower than I'd like, but it's still a good spot for hitting for sure. Ranger Suarez has not, he was a guy that he was kind of like the Martin Perez of last season. Like he just didn't give up a lot of damage, but he has not been very good. He's a low striker guy, only had 3 Ks in his last game, only got 8 swinging strikes, was able to get hit around against a kind of an anemic San Diego team. And this is the Braves team smashes left-handed pitching, right? They, even without Acuna obviously would make a huge difference. Albies has always been good against lefties too, for sure. I get it. But they still have Swanson has been crushing, he's great against left-handed pitching. Travis d'Arnaud is there. If you don't want to play d'Arnaud, you want to get a little bit sneakier, you can go down there and play William Contreras, the Contreras brother, who smashes left-handed pitching. Ozuna smashes left-handed pitching. Austin Riley smashes left-handed pitching. Adam Duvall, that's the one time you can play him, is against left-handers that are low strikeout guys. So, there is a lot of pop. Phil Gosselin is interesting. This is a little bit of a revenge match. He was playing for Philly last season and didn't get much playing time, but he's someone who could bang one out for 2K. But anyways, there's a lot of upside in this Atlanta offense.
Good hitting weather in St. Louis. It's getting the fire emoji, of course, on a great ballpark as is, but it's enhanced. Philadelphia, also the ballpark you're talking about with Atlanta visiting. Nice bump according to Weather Edge. And Coors is actually has the fire emoji. So 94 game sample, a 20% increase in homers, 6% increase in runs in that sample. Luch, some of your favorite stacks. And I would just say Minnesota has dropped for me. Now they are interesting as far as salary savers, but the absence of Buxton and Correa, for sure, I'm okay playing Miranda and Sanchez and Kepler, especially on Fanduel where he's 2.5 or something like that. But just the overall stack takes a hit. Arise is overpriced on DK. Where are you at, Luch, as far as stacks tonight and your official Dodger stance?
That's a tough one with the Dodgers, obviously, of course. I'm playing a small field single entry. I'm probably going to fade the Dodgers, and I know it's probably a death sentence, but that's okay. I like the Atlanta call a lot. You're getting the Weather Edge, you're getting the righty lefty. Suarez doesn't strike anybody out. I think that's super interesting. And the problem, Minnesota and Cleveland, both teams, good matchups, obviously. The problem is with Cleveland, outside of Ramirez and Franmil, who do you want to play that has power upside? I mean, I guess when Josh
Taylor's got some power.
Yeah, I know. It's true. But they're a tough full stack. So I like them more on FanDuel when you can only play 4 of them. I think it just makes sense. Minnesota definitely takes a hit. Quantrill's one of those pitchers that all of his advanced stuff sucks and he gets really lucky. His xFIP's over 5. They just have all these pitchers behind Bieber that somehow escape and just get nicked a little bit and never really get just pummeled. I just feel like Quantrill and Civali and who's the other guy that doesn't strike anybody out that's there too. They just they all have bad xFIPs. They all give up hard contact. They all give up fly balls. That people might shy away from Minnesota, and maybe this is the time to get on them. That's interesting too. I kind of like the Cubs. I think I'll have more Cubs exposure in my low dollar stuff than I thought I would initially. And I know Weather Edge doesn't say it's good hitting weather, but on DraftKings, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're getting some leverage if Hunter Green's really as popular as he's going to be. Hunter Green gives up a ton of hard contact and a ton of fly balls. So I am a little surprised that the Cubs are projected to come in mostly all in single-digit ownership here. You have Wilson Contreras, who never shied away from, being reverse splits. You have some power here on the Cubs. So as much as I'm considering Hunter Green, I definitely want both sides of this. And I think I'm going to end up with more Cubs in about an hour than I originally thought I would.
I'm totally fine homer hunting with the Cubs, by the way. I agree with you. And I hate the ballpark environment today, but Hunter Green's fly balls and his home runs he's given up, if he's not striking you out, he's in danger of giving up homers. And especially if people are going to be rostering him, and I understand why they are, and I probably am too to some degree. But I'm definitely going to pick off some Cubs for homers as well, including Patty the Brain Wisdom. Let's do this quickly. Let's go around the horn. Kirk D's catcher. Sanchez got a really nice price on Fanduel. I think he's playable like 2.5K. Of course, Will Smith is the premier catcher. 5.4K on DK. Got to spend up for him for sure. Are you making him a priority on DK or not necessarily?
I mean, whenever I have big chalk lineups, one of the things I always do is I just don't play the chalk catcher, like Will Smith, and then I try to match it with. So like 2 nights ago, my big stand was I played a bunch of chalk Dodgers and I used Mitch Garver over Will Smith, who outscored him by like 23 points. However, every other Dodger I had in my lineup gave me a 0. So if the chalk just hit, I was going to be chilling. But it did not. So Darnold is an awesome play. William Contreras is an even better play because I think he's going to get much less ownership down there at the 6th spot, but he is 3,900. You do save a little money. Alejandro Kirk, even though it's against my boy Pavetta, he's just a really, really good hitter. Obviously, it could go well for him. So, and then like you said, Gary Sanchez is there. I mean, there's a lot of catchers kind of good tonight for once.
Prodigal in chat's asking what app shows the fireballs with the ballparks. It's RotoGrinders Premium. One of the pieces on RotoGrinders Premium is the Roth Weather Edge tool. That's where it is, and it gives you the breakdown as far as what weather was like, how the game played on the very specific weather they're having today. Based upon nothing else as far as the players, none of that, but just increase in homers, increase in runs, that kind of thing. Just something you get a part of RotoGrinders Premium. We should catch up a little bit, Luch. Is there anything you want to add as far as catcher? Or you just want to jump to first?
No, let's jump to first.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's see here. I like Naylor in that Cleveland maybe mini stack I might run. We talked about the Guardians pitchers, and all 3 of those guys, including Plesac, have xFIPs over 5, and none of them strike out more than 20% of batters. But they keep getting by. But I'm okay with home run hunting there too. Alex Kirilloff is pretty cheap, coming in sub 5%. He had wrist surgery. They tried to bring him up a couple months ago. He was not faring well at all. Sent him back down in the minors. He was tearing the cover off of the baseball in the minors, and he's been back up 10 days, maybe 2 weeks by now. So I think he's interesting now that he's first base only eligible on DraftKings. So those are 2 guys that I'm looking at here. And I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, I know you're going to hate this one, Kirk, but you're not going to get CJ Cron against a lefty any lower than 10%.
I like that just fine. I mean, I've made a stand that I like Arias, but CJ Cron against the lefty in Coors, I mean, you don't need to overthink that.
For a guy that you're like, we don't, the jury's kind of still out on. I think this will be a pretty telling game for him tonight, Arias.
What do you think, Kirk D's big spend, Freeman or Vladdy at first?
Freeman, for sure. Freeman's going to knock one out tonight. I like him. Josh Naylor, I echo that call. I'm on board there. Jesus Aguilar is the cheap guy that lets you do anything you want. He's probably the best cheap guy. He's batting cleanup against Palante, very extremely low strikeout pitcher. Aguilar obviously has home run power and every at bat. That's what you need out of him. You're looking for a home run here, so I like that. Jared Walsh is in play. Matt Olson, lefty. People are going to shy away, but Matt Olson's one of my favorite plays today.
Another cheapie, Miranda batting second. Third base eligible also on Fanduel. He's cheap on both sites. DK 2-4, just first base eligible, but 2-1 on Fanduel. Miranda, I think he's pretty interesting.
Smashed one last night.
Big time prospect. I think he's going to be good. Not a complete project yet, but and I love the price there. It's about Aguilar as far as a salary saver at first. Palante is probably one of the worst pitchers taking the bump tonight, and good hitting weather in St. Louis as well. Let's jump to second base, Kirk Dees. This, of course, is the keystone position. The chalk on Fanduel is going to be Muncy, and probably the chalk on DK is going to be Muncy. He's back. I guess he's not terrible. He hit a homer last night, and he also hit a ball off the fence. So maybe he's not as hurt as some people would speculate. Who knows? Polanco is a pretty reasonable price as well, too. 3.7 for Polanco and DK. Pretty nice, actually. What are your thoughts as far as second?
Yeah, so I'm going to echo Cheese's sentiment. I'm going to give him credit for this take. But like when he was talking about Dodgers today, he was saying like really the ones he really just likes are Muncy and Bellinger, and maybe he said Freeman. I don't remember or not. But like those are like the three that all I really care about as well. So you can do a lot, but Muncy's definitely brings double dong upside. He's really struggled this season. We all know that. He loves to take a walk. But you can't doubt the upside here in this spot. Jorge Polanco is probably if you're not going to play Muncy and you can't fit him, no shame playing Jorge Polanco. Batting third, came back with a vengeance with a homer yesterday. Hopefully he's all right now and ready to just start crushing. So other than that, man, I can't pay $4,900 for Birdie, but I can pay $3,900 for Jonathan India.
Yeah.
Who looks like a good play. So, and then, man, what has I wish I knew Philip Gosselin's nickname. I can't remember because I know it's a good one, I think.
Philip, John and Cape. Was that John and Cape plus 8 more date the Goslings? This is not your wheelhouse, probably. I didn't watch the show either. I'm just aware. Remember there was a show, John and Kate, they had like 8 kids plus 8. I believe they were the Goslings. Am I making this up? Somebody confirm this in chat. I'm sure it's a lot of the Venn diagram of those that watch John and Kate plus 8 that watch DFS content, 2 circles, but somebody, maybe one person has seen it. But yeah, you can make up a nickname on the fly if you want to.
No, he has a real nickname, and I remember it being good, and I can't remember what it is.
Well, Luch, unless you got a nickname for Gosling, feel free to jump to second base. Do you want to add anything at second, or you just want to jump to third? What do you want?
No, I just real quick, I like Polanco a lot. I think Arias, if you're running a stack, is sub 10%. I mean, you're paying for him, but I think those Minnesota stacks can have to look a lot different now. And I do like Kirilloff. I like the price, and I like Polanco. Polanco has the highest ISO in this lineup. Actually, second highest ISO dating back to 2021 against righties is Polanco. The only one with a better ISO is Buxton. So yeah, I like the Polanco call quite a bit, and you'll probably get a discount ownership on him.
Start us off as far as let's jump to third base. Luch, third base, who's jumping off as far as ownership today? Well, again, Muncy, third base eligible. J-Ram, getting a good price on him, actually, 5.1 on TK. This is a guy that has been in the 6s before. You can flat out punt it with Jake Lamb. I presume if a lefty comes in, he probably gets the hook. Pretty sure he's actually DHing tonight. Just understand that going in. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to get the hook, but maybe. But your thoughts as far as third?
Yeah, I think Ramirez is, good advice. Play Jose Ramirez every day, right? Like, why do they pay this guy to be on the show? He sucks. So I do like J-Ram quite a bit. I like the brain wisdom. I mean, sub 10%, it just makes a ton of sense. It's not a drastic detriment to hitters with the weather edge stats there against Hunter Green. So I'm taking the hard contact and the fly ball stuff, and I like wisdom. Was that plagiarizing? Wait, who said it?
No, not at all.
Is that your baby? The brain? Is that yours? Is that your?
That was
literally nobody but Dean has said it. His real nickname is Patty the Tooth.
That's not his real nickname.
All right.
Anyway, but Philly Gosselin's nickname that I remember, his nickname of all the people that could be called this is Barrels.
What? Is it like ironic? Like you call like a fat guy tiny?
No, it's because he in spring training before last season, when he was with the Phillies, he was absolutely smashing, and so they all called him Barrels, and then that stuck.
Okay.
Anyways,
I never heard that before.
Yeah, if you Google it, it'll come right up. Anyway, third base, right? Like who's playing Jake Lamb for 2 at bats?
Okay, so that you're expecting the same thing, right?
I mean, they're not going to throw him up there against the lefty if one comes in.
I think they have not a lot of lefties. Let me check the bullpen as you continue. Go ahead. I'll let you know how many lefties on that Colorado pen.
But I mean, I have some fond memories of him back in the days with the Diamondbacks. Sure. Jose Ramirez obviously is the top play. Like, and Austin Riley is my. I think I can guarantee. Did you write up Austin Riley for a home run?
I did not.
Luch?
No.
Write him up. Get that going. That's happening.
What, do you want me to grab the cappuccino for you too? Like, who am I supposed to?
I'm just trying to give you a winner.
All right.
I mean, that's where my lineup starts. I'm playing Austin Riley everywhere.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that call for the Braves in general. Phil Gosselin had 8 barrels when he played last year, 2021. How many games?
No, in spring training.
I know. I just wanted to see if he lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
He didn't, for the record. He did not.
Spoiler.
That's the best. Like, this guy's been reeking in the spring, right? Like, that's
the one I did forget here is the birthday narrative. 30th birthday on the dot. 1 game he's going to be playing before he's sent back down to the Woo Sox is Yolmer Sanchez.
He'll go 1 for 3 with a walk or something like that, maybe, if he's lucky. 2 lefties in that Rockies pen. Gilbreth pitched yesterday. Gomber pitched on Sunday, 42 pitches for what it's worth. Shortstop, Kirk Dees, what do you have for me?
Short. Trey Turner's the obvious one. I have lineups with Rosario. I think it's a decent spot for him. It's, really you can play it. Wait, so is Correa not in the lineup?
Correct.
Correa and Buxton.
That stinks.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I knew Buxton, but I didn't.
God, these guys are the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. Nico Horner. I got a nice 0.5% dong out of him the other night, so I'm a little
all right,
little biased. But no, I like him. He gets a lot of contact, that guy. So he catch one of those fastballs from Hunter Green. I could see that happening. Bo Bichette people will play, but really to me, it's just Turner or Rosario if I need the savings.
Yeah, I think Bichette and Swanson are both awesome tournament plays because, like you said, people are going to spend up. They're going to spend all the way up to Turner, which I understand. Leading off on the road, well positioned for 5 ABs in Coors Field. Jack in a bag, option. He's got speed. He's got wheels. He's got everything. The engineer, if you will, of a team that's got a 7 total. Obviously, Trey Turner is going to be super popular. Anything to add there, Justin, as far as shortstop? Something that's worth mentioning here, or shall you jump to the outfield?
No, it's just a pretty terrible position today, to be honest with you. I mean,
it's top heavy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do like Dansby Swanson's ownership there, leading off against Suarez on the road too. So interesting. He's having a great season. Outfield, let's see here. I'm looking at FanDuel, and Chris Taylor is allegedly going to be the chalk. He's the only player projected above 30%, let alone 20%. So that's interesting. I like Franmil Reyes as long as that ownership doesn't get out of control. I'm okay with projected ownership of 15% on FanDuel. Super cheap, 2,400. That's a steal for his power upside. Dylan Bundy is terrible, and he's more of a reverse splits pitcher, and Franmil is a reverse splits fastball hitter. So I like Franmil Reyes quite a bit tonight. I talked about Kirilloff, who is outfield on FanDuel and first base on DraftKings. He's only 2,300 in the outfield on FanDuel. Decent ownership and really good price on him too. Let's see here. Scrolling. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. right now. So Chris Morel's batting in the 9 hole.
Yeah, he got dropped all the way to the 9 spot out of the 1.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I like the talent he has, but if you look up what he did in the minors, his strikeout to walk rate was so bad. I was just wondering, like, if it was sustainable, his production. We'll see.
He's been overachieving.
Right.
I think.
Right. But I mean, he steals bags, he does it all. I mean, decent price on him at 2,900 on FanDuel too. I guess those are the guys I like the most. What are you thinking, Kirk?
Love your Franimal call. I mean, it's just first of all, I think Dylan Bundy is terrible. I know he's had a couple of good starts. Only threw like 60 pitches, I think, in the last one. But someone I think he's going to unravel. He had a good start last because of BABIP went his way. I think Franimal is probably going to go deep. I think another guy that no one's going to play tonight is Jorge Soler, but you play him against low strikeout pitchers. It's that simple. If he gets a hold of one, you're looking for a dong here. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, low-key, I like the Marlins mini stack. I like the Marlins mini stack.
I'm on board. I like that.
Yeah. Soler, Aguilar. I mean, Abastiel is pretty cheap too. Yeah, just shooting for power. Go ahead. I was just throwing it out there.
No, I'm with you. Max Kepler, I'm in on. Adam Duvall, I'm in on. Mike Trout, even though I'm playing one lineup with Kopech. In my main lineup over on Yahoo, I will most likely have Mike Trout in it. At least that's what I was thinking before.
Is the salary for it? Like, it's not like it's is that what it is? You have the money, so you might as well.
Well, he's kind of cheap. He's like 21, so I just think there's a ton of upside for that with him. Yeah. But yes, you can do it because Hunter Green is so cheap over there tonight.
So he kind of turns it into a pick'em.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not playing there. I was just curious how the build works.
Yep. Let's see who else. I mean, anyone else? I mean, there's a lot of other plays, but I'm just like making up stuff to do it. I think Wright is gonna in for some trouble tonight too, as well. I think that he ran really good to start. I don't think that's really who he is. I think he's gonna regress more and continue to regress. So I think any of the Phillies home run bats are in play. I would prefer Schwarber, Castellanos has been bad this season, but 4.1K, if that's what I got and I'm filling out a lineup there, I got no problem putting him in.
Got the crunch time guys knocking on the door. They'll be here momentarily. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner. Cheeseisgood, from such things as the $1 Million Musings. That's where some of us get all our takes from, allegedly. And SDL Cards, who actually writes, he writes the SDL, the kind of the cheese article, the cheese size article. What is his article called? It's got like a
covering the bases.
There you go. You nailed it. I couldn't think of the name for some reason. I thought it was like a cards pun, and I'm like, no, it's not a cards pun. But he knocks that out on the weekend. They should be here in a minute or so. Give or
big take. Boy bet. I like how you gave him credit for that big boy bet on.
That was pretty good. That was ballsy. He wrote it up. He put it out there. Put his money behind it. 5,500 smackers on the Rockies to beat the Dodgers, the first game of that series. Good for him. I think he said it was his biggest bet he ever had. Like, he just had a good take on it, a good read on it, getting good odds on it, and worked out for him. All right, give me some homers. Who's banging out some homers tonight, Luch?
Franmil. He's going deep, and he was one of my scores and odds plays. That's my pick.
I see Naked HD in chat. Naked HD has challenged me to play me head-to-head. If you guys are not aware, we're starting this new challenge series. If you beat me in a head-to-head contest, you got to call me out. And actually, there's a tweet. I'll go ahead and drop it in chat if you guys are not aware. And I've been told by the higher-ups. Apparently, I was saying we're going to give – if you beat me in a head-to-head contest, and I'll be the road team. I'm the visitor. If you want to play on FanDuel, you want to play on DK, either one. I'm game. I'm down for it. Not 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium. And that includes golf and MMA and any sport that's going to, with the exception of NASCAR, F1 as well. But if you beat me, a month. You get a month free. A month. And I think swag, which I assume entails like a T-shirt. I can't confirm or deny what that is. But like, why would you not challenge me? And if you're watching, who's this dope? His takes are terrible. Well, here you go. A month free of RG Premium. You cannot put a price in that. You could put a price on it, but you can't put a price on the bragging rights of taking me down, right, Kirk Dees?
Yep. Shout out to our boy Naked HD. He's got the hashtag trending already going there. So yeah.
That's actually not the correct hashtag. It's hashtag beat Mean Dean.
He must have made a mistake. He must have made a mistake. I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it was an honest mistake from Naked HD. It was would never dare to flip those words around. Already Home has got premium already. Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. I think they would add a month, or maybe they would probably just add time on it. I think that's how it would work. Don't quote me on it. That's not my department. But yeah, feel free to call me out. Yisman, call me out.
I have two things for you, Dean. I have two things for you. I was here the last few minutes just taking this in.
We were giving you a shout out.
Yeah, after you couldn't come up with the name of my article, so thanks for reading.
And who I nailed it.
You got it. You got it. So you saved
a great article.
You saved Dean's bacon. And part two, I ran back the Rockies last night against Kershaw, and now I feel like I have to bet the Rockies every night until they lose. Because it's just a thing. So
it's house money at this point. So
no, it's his money. I don't like that term. It's his money. It's in his pocket.
Yeah, it is, but it's easier to place the bet with a little more money in there to do it. But problem is, I'm leaving for Florida tomorrow, so if they win tonight, I've got to put it on hiatus for about 5 days. But yeah, I got to get myself a Rockies jersey of some sort, though I'm not sure who.
Get the ones that are purple with the mountains. The city.
Their City Connect jerseys are green, I believe.
That's right. They're green. It's pretty cool.
They are pretty cool.
I like their City Connect jersey. Are you doing the
Grichuk homered both nights? No.
Well, former Cardinal, we can make an excuse for that. Although I don't know if his jersey's even available.
You probably can get it.
You can get it because I ordered Sean Doolittle after the live final.
Good thing TJ's not here. He'd be telling me to get a Grichuk tattoo.
They're all available.
If we get 150 likes, Curtis is going to twerk for us, according to the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Good twerker. Can you confirm that, Curtis? Did you not nod on that? I thought that was something we agreed upon. How many likes were you at?
That's the first I heard of it, but I mean the 150 is too little. I can't. You need. It shouldn't be much. I gotta admit that. So it's probably maybe like 250.
Is that legit in your arsenal? Is that in your repertoire? Is that in your bag? Can you twerk?
Of course I can twerk, Dean.
Of course. I wouldn't assume that. Roth, did you assume that Kirk Dees can twerk?
No, I'm so disturbed by how casual he was about that. No, I did not.
No, you should be more disturbed as how into this Dean is.
Not wrong.
The only thing I'm going to slide in your DM post show. We'll discuss
you're going to pay OnlyFans price then or something.
Dean's going to talk about how much he loves batting average.
Batting average. Yeah, I'm the math geek that's very angry at batting average. Roth, how have things changed in your world since 3 hours ago?
No, same things. All is well here, and there's still no major weather concerns, so I'm doing well.
We have Dave Potts with us as well. Dave, did we finally get a chance to sneak in that nap?
Yeah, I got a little nap. Had some chicken wings. It was a very good kind of afternoon.
This is important, Dave. We discussed this. Flats or drums?
I don't actually have a strong lean. Like I'm the guy, like if whoever I'm sharing with like really wants one or the other, I'm fine with it. I'll have the other. But if I was forced to choose, I would take flats.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way.
Tastier, but drums are so easy and convenient that they're like they both have their perks.
Good take. Easier to eat.
Yeah.
How about this follow-up question? Bones or no bones?
I said wings.
My guy. That's my guy. Cheese. Yes. Boneless wings are not even wings. Get them out of here.
What? They're nuggets? Is that what we're doing?
They're literally, it's like chicken breast pounded out into a weird gelatinous patty. Like they're not even real things. They're gross.
Before I leave, I just want to sneak in there. If for 350 likes, I'll do it, and I'll also throw in the floss. You know, the dance that the kids all do.
What?
The TikTok dance, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that too. So,
do you have a TikTok, Kirk? You should, from what I'm hearing.
Kind of, yeah.
You kind of have a. How do you kind of have a TikTok? I don't understand.
I don't want to get into this.
He runs the Naked XYZ TikTok account.
Well, that explains it. Now we've come full circle and we understand.
Yeah.
On that note, we're going to seamlessly segue out of here. It's going to be Roth. It's going to be Cardi. No, it's going to be Cards. What Reed has fabulous, outstanding, can't miss article covering the bases on Saturday.
I'm on vacation this weekend, so Cheese is writing. So we'll wait a week. You got to wait a week to promo it.
I'm trying to recover.
Good effort, though.
You got Dave Potts as well. Myself, Kirk Dees, Luch, we're stepping aside. It's the start of the FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time. Take it over, Roth.
Appreciate it, Dino. Guys, as always, welcome to it. It's Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. If you haven't already done so, and you should have, because this is the second one of the day, sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you are in a legal sports betting state. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000, and FanDuel Sportsbook users take advantage of that. You get your bonus after your first-time bet. Some of these sites you got to play through. This is what you got to play through the money 5 times to get your bonus. No, not this one. You just you make your bet, you get your bonus. That's how it should be. FanDuel doing it right. Also, of course, if you're watching this, it's because FanDuel's sponsoring it. So give us a thumbs up on the YouTube. Gentlemen, good to see you. Cheese, welcome back.
Yeah, good day to you again.
Good day to you, sir. We got STL Cards as well. Cards, how you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. This is like a Groundhog Day slate, same as last night and the night before with the chalk. So it's interesting. Over and over again, here we go with the Dodgers at Coors Field, and I've bet the Rockies last 2 nights and made a good chunk of change doing it. So as I was telling them, I'm committed to the bit now until it burns me. So I'm a Rockies fan. They're my second team at the moment.
I don't remember which night it was, whether it was last night or the one before, but the chalk Dodgers went horribly, horribly wrong. Has that been both nights or just one?
The first night they got shut out and just got a couple of those. Last night,
first night was a shutout. Last night was a couple homers,
a little something.
Okay, well, I'm intrigued.
Not what you'd expect when the 7 highest owned players are all on the same team.
Sure. Okay, well, I'm intrigued to see what comes of it tonight and hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's talk about this slate in general. Cheese, do you want to zoom out, or did we just do that? Because
it really is. Once again, and it'll be more chalky than last night because there's fewer games on the slate. Kind of like the extent of the chalk is affected by what else there is. There's a lot of good pitchers, even though there will still be some pitching chalk. And as much as the Dodgers are chalk and good chalk, there's a lot of offense to like too. So this is not a must play, even if they are the best team.
Okay. You want to talk about some of the pitchers, and then we'll get Cards' take on pitchers, and we'll talk some stacks as well.
Yeah. So yes, there's a lot of very good pitchers. There's 4 guys over 10K on FanDuel. I think it was 8 pitchers over 9K and over something like 8,500 on DK. But the chalk is going to be Shohei Ohtani. And I think that is wonderful chalk. It's on FanDuel where you got Ohtani, Alcantara, Manoah, and Wright all kind of bunched together. And then Hunter Green about $1,000 cheaper. Ohtani is the clear chalk out of those top 4. But I do like the other 3. I don't think I think Alcantara's the guy that gets ignored just because he's 11K. Not that 11K is that much more than 10.8 for Manoah or 10.5 for Ohtani. But I do think he's the guy who gets a little too ignored. But I like Ohtani. I think it's good chalk. And then I think Hunter Green is good chalk. He gets a little, it's not like some crazy pitching weather in Wrigley, but he's really great, except he gives up a lot of fly balls for home runs. So if it cuts down just the slightest bit on fly balls, he becomes an ace.
And it will, just because it's not even the wind so much, but also, all right, low 70s, upper 60s. It's not that cold. But yeah, winds blowing in 5 to 10 miles per hour. it's a hell of a lot better than if it was 80 and winds blowing out. We'll say that in Wrigley.
Yeah, I just think it really matters for him specifically. He's exactly the kind of pitcher that gains a lot from that bump. So for me, Ohtani and Green is the vast majority of my pool, and they are the chalk. But there's enough good pitchers that it's not like super mega chalk, other than maybe Ohtani on DK.
Okay. Any other names you want to throw in the mix?
There's very little need to go cheap. If you just have to totally punt it, on DK, Andre Palante, 5,100, gets a bunch of ground balls, is not good. Like, he's like a poor man's Dakota Hudson. So when you're a poor man, somebody who's not ground balls, 5,100 is fine. And then I'm okay with Justin Steele as kind of mid-cheap-ish.
Okay, great. Cards, you want to give me your pitcher thoughts here?
Yeah, he pretty much nailed it. I think it'll be really interesting to see where final numbers land. I think, Ohtani is clearly the number one guy in terms of factoring in safety and upside. So no debate on that. But I do think the other top end guys are really interesting pivots for tournaments. I like Manoah against Boston, even though he's not the biggest strikeout guy. They tend to let him pitch pretty deep into games, and nobody likes to take pitchers against Boston. So, he projects on Fanduel, he projects like 5 points lower than Ohtani, and he's a little more expensive. So it doesn't make sense in cash games, but you're also getting him at a third of the ownership. So I think Manoah is my favorite pivot in terms of if you're looking to spend up. And Alcantara's great too. Sure wish the Cardinals wouldn't have traded him away. And it seems like every time he gets to face them, he shows them why. So I think I like Manoah just a little better, but it's close with those guys. You can use the same logic on both of them. Hunter Green is the obvious cheaper guy. I'm not in GPPs. I never really consider him a must roster because he's so, especially as he starts to get a little over owned. I just don't think you need to do it. I mean, when he's bad, he can be really bad. I really don't think the Cubs are a horrible kind of contrarian stack. But if you're looking at like strikeout props and stuff and projections, Green is going to pop. And I do agree. Cheese mentioned Steele on the other side of that game. I do think Steele is intriguing tonight. Again, it's not necessary on FanDuel because you only get one pitcher and you don't really need the salary. But at 6,500 on DK, I think he makes for a perfect GPP SP2 to help you save a little more money to spend up on those top bats.
Okay, excellent. Anything else you want to add in, a random name, or no? You feel those are the names you're playing?
Yeah, those are pretty much the names I'm playing. In terms of being overweight, it's probably going to be Steele and Manoah.
Okay, excellent stuff. Let's talk some of the stacks here, Cards. And I got a feeling that you are not playing Dodgers, and instead maybe you're going Rockies, or at least as far as overweightness goes. Yeah,
I mean, I'm intrigued a little bit by Colorado. I don't necessarily think you need to stack them. I mean, the Dodgers project the best again, obviously, but anytime you get an offense where I think DraftKings, the 7 highest projected owned players are Dodgers, you can always make a case from a game theory perspective to stack somebody else. I mean, anything can happen in baseball. We've seen it the last 2 nights. Chad Kuhl pitched a complete game shutout. The whole saga going on with Freddie Freeman right now. The Dodgers just feel a little bit distracted. And, they could easily come out. It's Coors Field against a pitcher that's really struggled in Marquez, and they could score 16 runs. And then all those Dodger stacks are at the top of the GPPs. And if you stack the Dodgers and the top 2 pitchers, you're going to be up there. But it also leaves yourself no room for error because everybody else is also stacking them. So my way to approach this, if you're building like 20 or 40 or 60 or 100 GPP lineups tonight, is you make a bold statement on the Dodgers. You either decide that you are in and all in on them, and then you filter in, your best one-offs around them. And then that way, if they go off, you're going to have something that hits in there, or you're all out on them and you just decide you're going to diversify your portfolio of offenses. And then if the Dodgers bust, you've got a leg up on 20 to 30% of the field. I don't think on a short slate like this, the approach is to say, well, I'm going to play 30% Dodgers and just go level with the field on everybody. I think you got to make your stance on the Dodgers tonight, whether you're in or you're out. I'm probably out, but I don't feel as comfortable with it as I have the last 2 games. Didn't love the first game. It was because of the travel, and the Sunday game didn't end until midnight, cross-country flight. Last night is because I don't love the way their lineup lines up against left-handed pitching right now. Tonight, it's a little bit tougher of a sell. It's tough to see them completely flopping again. So not as bold on the stance against them tonight, but just from a game theory perspective, I think I'm probably going elsewhere in tournaments. My favorite pivot would be Toronto, and my favorite kind of under-owned offense is the Twins. Though without Buxton and Correa in there tonight, their lineup is a little less appealing. I still don't mind them as a GPP stack, though.
Okay, great. Cheese, I want to get your take here. Real quick, before we get into what you're going to do with LA and your favorite stacks, if this spot that is the best spot burns people 2 nights in a row, do you expect the ownership to come down by night 3 where people are like, hey, I'm tired of getting burnt on this? It's not a good play.
No, people don't do that anymore.
No, it's a bummer because it sounds really juicy to me. Like tonight's the night I really want it, just based on what Card said. But all right, well, what's your game plan?
I'm underweight Dodgers stacks, but not underweight Muncy and Bellinger. That's my stance, is that the Dodgers are going to get a couple home runs, and most likely it's left-handed fly ball hitters, and that's them. I'm not sure the Dodgers are the best LA team tonight. For DFS, because you can't use Ohtani in the batting lineup,
It's so dumb.
I don't quite love it, but I still love, like, Trout, Ward, Walsh is still a really good, at least mini stack.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like them a lot. And I would say the Braves at this point are probably my favorite stack. And I also agree with that Blue Jays and Twins.
Okay. Shouldn't it just be easy that you can just play him as a hitter and
It
as a
should
pitcher? I don't understand the difficulty in it. It really frustrates me. Okay, let's talk position by position here. And Cheese, you can lead us off with some catcher talk if you don't mind.
Oh, glory. So it's again going to be one of those, we're going to mention a Dodger first everywhere. So we'll try to talk about, is the Dodger that much better? Like, Will Smith projects a lot better. But like, theoretically, if we get the good German Marquez, which we haven't gotten a lot this season, but the good German Marquez is pretty good against righties, and to where I wouldn't feel like I just have to play Will Smith. The pivots that I like a lot are Sanchez and Kirk as one-offs. And then I do like spending up in stacks, which would be like Darno or Contreras for the Braves, Real Muto for the Phillies, Stassi for the Angels. But basically, outside of a full Dodgers stack, I slightly prefer Kirk and Sanchez over Will Smith.
Okay. And Cheese, I would consider you like a power user of RG tools. So we did get a quick question from Jay Sams. What happened to the bullpen info that used to be in Plate IQ? Do we have that somewhere else?
No, I do not know what happened to it, but it is not there.
Oh, okay. Well, we will work to find out if it is somewhere else. So thanks for the question. All right, Cards, catcher, thoughts?
Yeah, not too much to add at catcher. I do like Darno a good bit. The Braves are another offense I think you can definitely play tonight. It'll come down to batted ball luck against Suarez, but I like their 2 catcher options. Contreras is a little bit cheaper. Sanchez, again, I like the Twins as well. I think he's fine as a power one-off or as part of a stack. So, yeah, I don't think you need to prioritize Will Smith at 5,400 on DK or on FanDuel where you don't need a catcher.
Okay. Take us to first.
Yeah, so Freeman is the one Dodger that I'd probably be most comfortable playing individually, but he's 4,500 on FanDuel. He's 5,700 on DK. He doesn't like it in LA. This has all come out. So where's his head right now? You know, who knows? He could still hit a home run off Marquez at Coors. But I think you can go a little bit cheaper here as well, particularly if you're playing on FanDuel. You've got Miranda at 2,100 hitting second. You've got Arias. You can play at any of 3 positions at 3K. Jared Walsh, I think, is interesting tonight as a one-off for the Angels hitting cleanup against a pitcher with control problems. And all those guys are fairly affordable. So this becomes a position where you don't need to spend top dollar. And then if you are, and you still want to be contrarian, with most people playing Freeman, you could pivot to Vlad Guerrero or Rhys Hoskins or somebody like that. So different options here depending on the salary you have available. But basically it's the Twins guys if you need to go cheap, and either Freeman or Vlad if you want to spend up, with the Vlad being my more appealing tournament play.
Okay. Cheese, some first base picks for me?
Like Cards kind of mentioned, I like spending down at first. Freeman is not a necessity. Sure, he's great. Vlad is great. But like he mentioned, most of the names I like. Walsh. The Miami guys are interesting for cheap plays, especially Aguiar on DK at 2,200. Josh Naylor interests me a little bit. Jose Miranda. And on DK, Alex Kirilloff's a first baseman. He's a cheap outfielder on FanDuel. Yeah, basically, I'm just not prioritizing Freeman as this slate goes.
Okay, second base.
Second base is the first place I really do want a Dodger. FanDuel, again, Max Muncy is too cheap there. Gavin Lux is also there. Jorge Polanco being back for the Twins is very interesting, and he's also pretty nicely priced. Even Arias is second base eligible. So you can do a lot with just those two teams. Brendan Rodgers is somewhat viable. I'm really just not playing very many Rockies. I have a couple of stacks just because it's in Coors Field, but Urias is just good. So I don't love it. Pretty much Muncy is my play here.
Okay. Cards, second. You're muted, bud.
Had the mute button. Thank you.
Yep.
So second base, as usual, on a short slate, a little bit of a weak position. And I don't really have a whole lot to add other than maybe Jonathan India. He's 2,800 on FanDuel. I kind of like steals, so I'm not huge on the Reds, but India, cheap on FanDuel, 3,900 on DK is not too bad. So I have him in my GPP mix as well. Otherwise, nobody different.
How much Muncy you got?
Not very much. I mean, since I tend to stack, I do have him as a one-off occasionally, but I'm okay with it. Like the lefties, I would prioritize a little bit more from the Dodgers. Plus, the position is so weak that this isn't a position where I think you need to fade the chalk, just because there's not really a lot of opportunity cost with other high-end plays.
Gotcha. All right, take us to third.
All right. So you're going to see people punt, particularly on DraftKings with Jake Lamb at 2K. Again, if you need a 2K play and you're spending up at pitching, it's fine. You can also play him in the outfield on DraftKings. I think you could do either, but there's a lot of reasonable pivots here. So maybe you end up putting him in outfield. Like Wisdom as a power bat. If anybody just gets a hold of a Hunter Green fastball, they can hit a home run. And I believe the wind is blowing out a little bit in Chicago.
It is, yeah.
Fairly low.
Yeah. No, in Chicago. No, the wind is blowing in Chicago.
That's why we like Hunter Green.
At 5 to 10.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong game then. All right. A little less high on Patrick Wisdom, but still guys like Riley and then Matt Chapman then instead of Wisdom would probably be my favorite tournament guy. Played him last night. Really the better part of the last week. He's been swinging the bat pretty well. He's had some solid fantasy games. And Pivetta, he's very hit or miss. That Toronto offense, we know it has plenty of upside. Nobody loves to play Chapman hitting seventh. But this is an upside bat. He's only 3,900 on DK. Maybe a better DK play than it is FanDuel. Because FanDuel, you get a few extra options with, Miranda there. Chris Bryant, you could play at third on FanDuel too. So, those are my plays.
Okay. Cheese, third base.
Jose Ramirez is never sneaky, but compared to the Dodgers, he's lower owned than that. But the two guys who are just playing good and not going to be played is Devers and Austin Riley, especially Devers, because they're facing Manoah. People aren't going to be stacking the Red Sox. I like Devers and Riley. I guess for the ownership, I would call them my two favorites.
Okay. You want to take us to short?
You know I do. Trey Turner, I should mention, projects well. He's a kind of like the Will Smith thing, but like he's such in his own pricing tier that like if you end up with a lineup where you just have 4,500 on FanDuel or 6K on DraftKings with your shortstop, like you may as well play Turner. But I don't think you need to force it because Swanson and Bichette in particular, I really like. It's kind of a bummer not having Correa. He would have taken a good bit of that ownership away. And now Swanson and Bichette go up a little bit. But that's just who I like. I don't mind going cheap in some stacks. Like I have, Didi Gregorius here and there. The Guardians guys, Rosario Jimenez, but mostly Turner, Bichette, Swanson.
Okay, and real quick, I think this is a rewind to third, but JW says Riley or Chapman, Cheese.
Riley, but okay. I mean both are good.
Yeah. All right, Card shortstop.
So I must confess, there are random reports out there of things being confusing with the wind in Chicago. This is what generated my confusion.
Do tell.
The fact that the total is only 8 means that everybody that is banking on it blowing in, including Ross weather forecast, is most likely accurate. The source of my confusion is we only get maybe 5 days a year where my local wind direction is different than the wind direction downtown in Chicago. So I usually just use the shortcut of looking at my weather at home, seeing the wind.
Cards walks outside and see if he blows over which direction he falls.
I've got the flag in my. No, anyway, I just use my home forecast, which currently has a southwest wind, which always means it's blowing out at Wrigley. And then as I was in the middle of talking about wisdom there, I'm like, wait, the total's only 8. And then you guys corrected me. And then there's a couple posts on Twitter with some confusion. So I don't know. Maybe we've got a swirling wind. Maybe we've got a wind debate in Chicago tonight. Maybe there's some sort of front somewhere. I'm going to need Roth's weather expertise on this.
It was your last answer that I believe is right here. I'm just starting to dig into it, but it looks like if we were to take the weather at 11 p.m., it would be out of the south. But during the game, it's out of the northeast, so it's blowing in, and then gradually that's pivoting southerly, south by the end of the game, after the end of the game.
So the fact that I am west of Chicago means we have gotten the south winds first.
Correct. And if it's a warm front lifting through, then that would make sense.
Cards, you are in the future right now.
Yes.
I feel special. Well, I need that to go to Chicago if I'm going to play some bats there. It needs to get there before the game. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. It was just the source of my confusion because I could not use my usual shortcut. Trey Turner's good at short. Bo Bichette's good at short. Probably a spend-up position unless you're just flat-out punting because you don't have the money. But there's really not a lot to love in terms of cheap guys here. Like Nico Horner's been playing well for the Cubs, but again, the weather, and against Hunter Green, I'm probably playing Turner or Bichette, or if you need the salary relief, Rosario on FanDuel is fine at 2,800, but shortstop pretty much stinks otherwise.
Okay. Yeah. I'm starting to come around to maybe this wind pivoting just a little bit so that it is a little bit right to left, at least during the later innings of the game. Either way, it's not blowing out. I think at the start of the game,
it doesn't seem like it's going to be a huge impact one way or the other, but it was. Yeah. It's very rare that there's any sort of contradictory information like between my house and there, and I got all backwards.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Okay, you want to take us to the outfield?
Yeah, regardless of the weather, I do like Ross Boy Ortega as an outfield play tonight. He's only 2,200 on FanDuel, and I've been really impressed. I mean, I watched their series against the Cardinals over the weekend, and he was showing quite a bit of pop. And at that cheap salary, he's leading off tonight. As the guys on the previous show mentioned, they moved Morel down to 9th. So Ortega leading off, I think, is a nice value. Kepler and Reyes. I mean, FanDuel, you can pretty much make a value outfield if you want, and then throw in like Bellinger or Taylor if you want to play somebody from the Dodgers. Obviously, Mike Trout if you want to spend all the way up. But It just becomes like in cash games, those are probably the types of guys you're playing because you got all the way up for Trout, you've got the Dodgers, and then you've got the values like Ortega, Kepler, Reyes. DraftKings is a little different because Kepler is significantly cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. So then you get back into the Jake Lamb discussion. Stephen Kwan leading off is a value play on DK. I like Springer a little bit. So I'll save some for Dave, but those are most of my outfield guys.
Okay. Cheese, some of your faves?
It is strange the lack of high-end outfielders. Like they just don't exist. It's not that they're not good, it's that they don't exist. Like Trout is it, which is going to raise Trout's ownership more than it would have been if we had all the usual guys on this slate. Probably same for Schwarber. Like I think Schwarber would be like unowned if we had a full outfield on a full slate. But as it is, like you get stuck with a little extra money. Like, well, I may as well play Schwarber. So I don't love that. Bellinger is my favorite guy. FanDuel Kepler is my favorite salary saver. I like Kirilloff there as well. I guess we didn't really mention Jake Lamb at third on DraftKings. I mean, he is playing for the Dodgers and he's minimum salary, so that's fine. Franmil Reyes is kind of weird chalk, but like the matchup is right for him to hit a homer. And throwing a little Jorge Soler and Jesus Sanchez in there as well.
Okay, excellent. Cheese, one stack to win it all. Where are you looking?
Braves.
Cards, you're playing single entry. You got $12 on the table, and you're trying to take down a tournament. Who are you playing?
I would probably lean toward Toronto.
Toronto? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get some
at
QQs.
1 o'clock, that would have been Minnesota. But their lineup
puts
them behind Toronto for me. I still like them, but without the two big bats, it's a little less exciting.
And on FanDuel, like everyone's the same two positions. They have like 2 first basemen, 2 second basemen, and a bunch of outfielders. It's weird. 3 first basemen.
All right, let's get some QQs. I'll go to MT Red Sox. Cards, is Philly sneaky in GPPs? Nobody seems to like Wright. Would it be better for stacks or one-offs?
Yeah, I think they're an interesting discussion because Wright started off the year so well, and then now everybody just thinks he's terrible. I think that the true Kyle Wright probably lies somewhere in the middle, and really, it's just been 2 starts. I mean, he's given up 21 hits his last 2 starts. Feels like this is just a little bit of an overcorrection. I don't think you have to play Kyle Wright at pitcher tonight by any means, but I really don't love the Phillies bats. That's kind of where I am on it. I'm just pretending that matchup doesn't exist for the most part.
Geez, any interest in stacking Philly? I feel like usually they're a team that's got some power and we like it.
Yeah, I do like them a little bit. Yes. More for one-offs, but I do have a couple stacks.
Great. All right.
Yeah, and that's another team that the stack is just a little less fun with Harper out.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Last piece, FanDuel Cash. Cheese, Marsh, Tapia, or Straw?
I would play Marsh.
Okay. MP says, give me a home run pick, fellas. I'm going Ohtani. He pitches a gem and hits a bomb tonight. Cards, give me a home run pick.
Let's go with Matt Chapman.
I like it. Cheese?
Adam Duvall.
Excellent. Okay. Let's see. Cheese, why is it that plate IQ projections are better for Hunter Green than Ohtani? Not just a mean, but Ohtani's floor is so much lower than Green's. Is that a glitch since he's batting as well? Oh.
So I looked at that when I saw that question because I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm going to say that has to be a glitch. Yeah, when you see that floor, I think that's probably a glitch, but I don't know.
He does break
I think
things.
The floor thing is a glitch just because of how the projections have to get handled with him also being a hitter. It's just it's a programming issue.
Yeah. It breaks things on the tech side, man. Nobody was ready for this. All right. ML says, hey, Cards, curious, why do you like Steele when the Reds have 8 righties in their lineup and his splits aren't that great?
He's looked better. I mean, in my opinion, you can kind of throw his splits out the window. He's just looked like a better pitcher his last few starts. He's a talented pitcher. And yes, the Reds have a lot of righties, but outside of India and Pham, Drury's kind of cooled off. You got guys like Solano, Senzel, Farmer, Almora. They're just not very good. And I mean, their team total is like 3.7 runs. I don't think you have to go play Justin Steele by any means, but I just don't see the Reds scoring a bunch of runs tonight.
Okay. Let's see. Cheese FanDuel Cash and Bad says Belly, Naylor, or Will Smith and Reyes.
I would Belly Naylor.
All right. Cards, FanDuel Cash for you. 2v2. He says Arez and Chris Taylor. I think maybe that's Arias, but I don't know. And Chris Taylor. Or Gary the Goat and Chris Rock's father, a.k.a. Will Smith.
Give me the first one.
All right. Achilles. Cheese. Is Eddie Alvarez playable on DK, or do I just play Franmil and eat the money?
I would only do Alvarez if that's a Dodgers stack. As a one-off, I would just do Reyes.
Great. All right. Prodigy Card says, FanDuel single entry, you want Muncy or McMahon?
Probably Muncy.
Okay. Cheese, BHB, DK Cash, Aguiar or Miranda?
I would Miranda and Cash.
Okay. Amateur Hour, DK GPP cards, playing a full Atlanta stack and a mini Cleveland stack. Do I go with Ramirez or Riley? Either way, we're completing a stack. So who do you like more?
Wow, that's a really good question. It's hard to not say Ramirez in that debate, but a nuanced answer is that I don't love the larger volume of Cleveland batters against Bundy. I prefer the smaller volume of Cleveland batters against Bundy, who's always had problems with home runs. The expanded stack team that could get 4, 5, 6 hits in a row, I think Atlanta is more likely to do that. So in terms of rounding out a stack, I think I prefer Riley. If you're playing 4 and 4 either way, I would go Ramirez and figure out your 4 and 4. But if it's like a 4 and 2 or something, I'd prefer Atlanta as a full stack, if that makes sense.
That makes sense even to me. I understood it, and just a really good answer. Good stuff. All right. Cheese, Brave stack DK single entry with Ohtani and Manoah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
All right. Cards, is Miami viable as a stack on FanDuel? Seems like every time I look up, Bertie is swiping bases.
Yeah, boy, he's taken baseball back 20 years. I laugh. I saw a promo on DraftKings the other night for both Birdie and Tommy Edman to steal a base. And it was like one of these promoted DraftKings same game parlay things that they just are begging people to take these. And I'll be darned if they didn't both steal a base in the same game. So anybody that bet that got a win. But yeah, Miami's got some potential. I mean, Palante's been good, but his advanced numbers aren't all that spectacular. I don't know if I'd go like full 5-man stacking Miami, but you can go with Birdie and then maybe 1 or 2 of their power bats and they're cheap enough.
Okay. Coming up on lock here, BHB, DK Cash, J-Ram and Lamb, or Polanco, Chris Taylor.
I would Polanco, Chris Taylor. If you can stay away from Lamb and Cash, that's a little safer because he's like the highest pinch hit risk.
Okay. Tom says DK Cash, Lamb, or B. Anderson cards.
Probably not playing Anderson in Cash, so Lamb just because he's in Coors.
Cheese, is Luis Arias okay as a DK single entry one-off?
It's a weird one. I mean, it's okay because of how bad second base is. He's not the type of guy I personally use as a one-off. So
okay, we'll go to Scorekeeper here, who says this is just a comment. Blue Jays stack and Marquez winning you GPPs tonight. You agree?
I don't mind the blue. Oh, I have choked on myself here. Go back to Cheese for a second.
Wow.
Reggae Cheese, Blue Jay stack and Marquez winning you a GPP.
I since it was not a question, I will.
I have thrown everybody completely off with that. I had a cough and tried to answer the question. It did not go well.
Yeah, nearly died. You nearly died live on air. We're glad you made it.
We're back. We're back.
Yeah,
sort of.
You don't mind the Blue Jays, but you don't think Blue Jays Marquez is.
There's no reason to play Marquez. You're welcome to do it, but like it's just so not necessary.
Yeah. All right.
Agreed.
All right. 2 more questions. I got to get out of here. Baby's having a meltdown, and wife needs some help. So 2 questions, and then I got a piece. GPP, Cheese, Arias, Polanco, or Muncy?
I would play Muncy. I know that's the chalk, but that's the answer.
Okay. Achilles, DK Cash, Contreras of the William variety, Turner and Taylor. So William Contreras, Turner and Taylor, or Smith, Bichette, Franmel.
This was Cash.
It was.
That's close. I'd probably play the second one though.
Okay, excellent. He also adds, "It's times like these I wish I could roster Andre Ethier in the Dodgers outfield." I don't. Is that old?
Yeah.
Is that an old man? Yeah.
You can just play Jake Lamb, and there you go. You got a 2K Andre Ethier.
Yeah. All right. With that, I got to go a little earlier than normal. A full meltdown. I hear it. So we are gonna head on out of here for Cheese and for Cards and for our wonderful production team working hard behind the scenes, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.